All right, students, am I audible, everyone? Am I audible? Quickly give me a heads up. Am I audible? Can we go ahead, people? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Chalo, we'll be little quick now. Everyone, can we start the class? Yes, people. Is everyone there? Yes, sir. Let's start. Okay. Chalo, let's go ahead and start. All right, students, welcome back after the break. Chalo, let's go ahead and continue our class now. People, over here, we were done with section number 22, 23, and 24. Now, we will go ahead and start with section number 25. Everyone over here, whenever you become liable, you have to go ahead and apply within how many days? You have to apply for registration within 30 days. That is told by section number 25. Section number 25 says about the procedures for registration. People over here, we went ahead and learned about registration. In registration, we learned section number 22, 23, and 24. 22 told about people who are liable for registration. 23 told about people who are not liable for registration. 24 told about compulsory registration. 22 people liable, 23 people who are not liable, person who are not liable. 24 told about people who are liable for compulsory registration. If you are liable under section number 22 and 24, you have to go ahead and take registration. How to take registration? That is told by section number 25. Then we have 25 talks about the procedure. Then we have 26 total bakwas section. 27 CTP and NRTP related special provision. 28 which is there, 28 goes ahead and talks about amendment. 29 talks about cancellation of registration. 30 talks about revocation of cancellation. Revocation of cancellation order basically is told by section number 30. Now I want everyone to be careful because there are small amendments which are there in the chapter. We'll start with section number 25. Everyone over here. Section number 25 says person who are liable for registration. Procedures for registration is told by section number 25. Section number 25 talks about the procedure. Okay. So there was a person, he went ahead and became liable. He got an idea, started business. After some days, he became liable. Either 22 or 24 he became liable. When you become liable, section number 25 says, see over here everyone, section number 25(1) says, person who is liable, please go ahead and apply for registration within how many days? 30 days. You have to apply for registration within 30 days. So if I am a person who becomes liable for registration, I should apply for registration within 30 days. If I am a casual taxable person, government told you will run away. So better, before you start business, 5 days prior, you will have to go ahead and apply for registration. A CTP and NRTP has to apply for registration in advance. 5 days in advance, they have to go ahead and apply for registration. If you have an SEZ unit or if you are a SEZ unit or an SEZ developer, you have to take separate registration. SEZ unit and SEZ developer has to take always separate registration. Okay, sir. Next, sir, what is an SEZ unit? A unit which is within the SEZ. Who is an SEZ developer? The person who develops the SEZ units. Next, explanation. Sir, if you are in the territorial waters of India, means I am in the territorial waters. Territorial waters means baseline say if you are here somewhere in the water, you have your establishment, then they are telling you have to take registration in the nearest coastal state. Okay, sir. So I am going ahead and telling, first of all, section number 25(1) comes. Section number 25(1) says, if you are a person who is liable for registration, please apply for registration within how many days? 30 days. Proviso, a casual taxable person or an NRTP shall apply 5 days prior to commencement of business. If you are a casual taxable person or you are an NRTP, you should apply 5 days prior. SEZ unit, if you have an SEZ unit, then you should take separate registration. For an example, in Karnataka, I have one unit over here. I have one SEZ में one unit. They are telling this ka separate registration and this ka separate registration has to be taken. Next, if you are there in the territorial waters of India, you have to go ahead and take in the nearest coastal state. For coastal state, you have to go ahead and take registration. Next, now when you are going ahead and taking registration, so you became liable, you should go ahead and take registration. How will you go ahead and take registration? There is rule number 8, rule number 9, rule number 10, which talks about how to take registration. Everyone, will start with rule number 8 now. Rule number 8 goes ahead and says you should go ahead and apply. First of all, see, how will you get registration, everyone? How do you go ahead and take admission in the college? First, you give application, then they verify, and then they give you admission. Same way in GST, first you have to apply with documents. Secondly, they will go ahead and verify, and then they will give you registration certificate. But here, some procedures are there. We will go ahead and understand that now. Rule number 8 talks about application. Rule number 9 says proper officer will verify everything. Verification. And then is rule number 10, which goes ahead and says registration certificate shall be issued to you. So rule number 8, which is there, says if you are a person other than NTO, for NTO other rules are applicable. So I have gone ahead and told if you are a person other than NTO, N means NRTP, T means TDS TCS collector, O means OIDR, online information database access and retrieval service provider. CA final level में TDS TCS OIDR will be discussing, not at IPC level, not important. Okay sir. Rule number 8 says if you are a person who is other than NTO, means I am a normal person, I want to take registration. How do I take? They told you have to go ahead and fill GST REG 01. The form name is GST REG 01. In GST REG 01, there is part A. You will have to go ahead and fill part A. Part A, what are the things you have to declare? So when you are going ahead and applying for registration, you have to go ahead and fill GST REG 01 ka part A. There are two forms which are there. If I go ahead and tell about GST REG 01, there are two forms. For an example, this is the GST REG 01. Here you have part A and here you have part B. So first you will have to fill part A. So let's go ahead and understand part A. Part A, what are the details they are asking? PAN number they are asking you. PAN number will be validated with CBDT database. CBDT database means your income tax may, basically you have Central Board of Direct Tax. Central Board of Direct Tax, in income tax you obtain PAN from there. So Baba, Central Board of Direct Tax ka database say your PAN number will be verified. Okay sir. Then you have to go ahead and put in your GST REG 01 ka part A, mobile number, email ID. You will get an OTP and verification of the mobile number and email ID will be done. Then you will have to put your state. Okay. Now you will have to go ahead and do all this. When you do all the three, means you have put all the details and verified, then they are telling temporary reference number will be generated. Now you will have to use the temporary reference number and you will have to go online and submit part B of GST REG 01. Part B has to be signed and submitted. Now, what was happening was government went ahead and saw many people are going ahead and doing fake registration. What they will do, no fake registration they will do, then they will keep issuing invoices. Only bogus invoice they will issue so that fund people can take credit. Bogus invoices ka case was happening. So government went ahead and told we want people to do Aadhaar authentication. And if you see, this is the part B. GST REG 01 ka part B is this. In GST REG 01 part B, you will see over here one new tab, Aadhaar authentication has been introduced. One new tab which is Aadhaar authentication has been introduced over here, where you have to first go ahead and say, would you like to verify your Aadhaar? It says yes. Why is Aadhaar authentication required? Because government is telling people have become very fake now. We want to go ahead and verify the identity of a person, whether he is a good person, he is not a fake person which is there. People were taking GST registration just like that and going ahead and issuing fake invoices, and government was becoming very tensed about it. So government went ahead and told we want everyone to go ahead and do Aadhaar authentication. So government went ahead and told when you are filling your part B of GST REG 01, we will tell you to do Aadhaar authentication. Okay sir. Now, who are the people who are required Aadhaar authentication? I have gone ahead and told over here. See, 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D. You will have to learn 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D. 6A says if you are a already registered person, you will have to undergo Aadhaar authentication, or you have to furnish proof of Aadhaar number, or furnish alternate and viable means of authentication. Means government is telling we will give you alternate means. Means might be they will tell you please give me your passport copy. We will verify your identity. So they are telling over here 6A may registered person has to undergo Aadhaar authentication, but as of now it is yet to be notified. So if you are a already registered person, you also have to undergo Aadhaar authentication, but it is yet to be notified. Then 6B, from 1st of April, always remember from 1st of April 2020, government have introduced Aadhaar authentication. So if you were registered before 1st of April, then also you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication, but that is yet to be notified. That is told by 6A. Okay. 6B is going ahead and telling individual has to undergo. So if you are an individual, who is going ahead and applying for GST registration, you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Okay. Then 6C is telling others have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Who are the other people who have to undergo Aadhaar authentication? All types of authorized signatory, managing an authorized partner, and Karta shall undergo authentication from 1st of April. Everyone over here. Aadhaar authentication, who has to do? Who has to go ahead and do Aadhaar authentication? Sir, what do you mean by Aadhaar authentication? Nothing, Baba. When you are applying for registration, they will send one mail in your email ID. If you go ahead and click on the mail ka link, you will have to put your Aadhaar number, you will have to put the OTP, and your Aadhaar will be verified. That's all. Okay, everyone. Now, who are the people who are required? They are telling 6A. We will tell every registered person. Means if you are a person who was already registered before 1st of April 2020, you also have to undergo Aadhaar authentication, but from a date to be notified, nothing has been notified now. 6B is going ahead and telling who has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. 6B may they are going ahead and telling if you are an individual from 1st of April, if you are taking registration from 1st of April 2020, you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. 6C is telling if you are AMK, A means authorized signatory. If you are an authorized signatory, means when you went ahead and took GST registration, you are an authorized signatory. M for managing an authorized partner, and K for Karta. Then also you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication as per 6C from 1st of April 2020. So from 1st of April, IAMK, I am the Karta has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Who are the people who don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication? That is told by 6D, and this is the amendment this time. They have gone ahead and now amended and told who are the people who don't have to undergo. So this was telling who don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. These are the people who are not required Aadhaar authentication. Sir, who are the people who are not required Aadhaar authentication? Means 6D says 6A, 6B, 6C is not applicable. Means you don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication if you are a person who is notified. Who are the people who are notified? See over here. I have written down. This is the part of amendment, very important for your exam this time. What is it telling over here? If you are a person who is not a citizen of India, then you don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Baba, if you are not a citizen of India, how will you have Aadhaar card? So you don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Government is telling, if you are a department or establishment of government ka department, they are telling government department does not have to undergo any Aadhaar authentication. Then local authority, no Aadhaar authentication. Local authority is not required Aadhaar authentication. Then if you are a statutory body which is formed under a law, then you are not required Aadhaar authentication. Okay. Then public sector undertaking, you are a public sector undertaking, you don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. If you are a person who is applying for registration under section number 25(9), basically a UIN holder, if you are a UIN holder, you don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. So you have to remember, if you are a person who is NDL, New Delhi, NDL, PSU, you don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Who is N? N means not an Indian citizen, non-Indian citizen. D for Department of Central Government, State Government. Local authority does not have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. P for Public Sector Undertaking. S for Statutory Body. U for UIN holder. You don't have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. N New Delhi, PSU. Are we clear till here? Quickly go ahead and give me a heads up if the point of Aadhaar authentication, who has to undergo, who doesn't have to undergo, is clear to all. Can we go ahead, everyone? Quickly give me a heads up. Is the point clear till here, everyone? Yes, sir. Is the point clear to all? Can we go ahead? Yes, sir. The point is clear. 6D, 6A, 6B, 6C will not come, means they are not required Aadhaar authentication. In 6D, they are going ahead and telling 6A, 6B, 6C is not applicable. It means you are not required Aadhaar authentication. You are not required Aadhaar authentication if you are a person who is notified. Who are the people who are notified? New Delhi, PSU. These 6 people are not required Aadhaar authentication. That is being told over here. Chalo, let's go ahead, everyone. So I have told you who are the people who are required Aadhaar authentication, who are the people who are not required Aadhaar authentication. Now, please come back. Now, if you are an applicant, you opt for Aadhaar authentication. Yes, sir, I went ahead and opted for Aadhaar authentication. Then they went ahead and told the date of submission of the application will be date of Aadhaar authentication. What happens when you go ahead and file your application? One link will come in your email ID. That link you will have to click, and the link you will have to click and put your Aadhaar number and put your OTP, and verification will be done. So basically, what will happen as soon as you submit your part B, in your part B, you have to go ahead and say, would you like to opt for Aadhaar authentication? You went ahead and told a yes. As soon as you tell a yes and you submit, you do the verification and you submit your GST REC01, what will happen in your email ID? One link will come. That link you will have to click, then you will have to put your Aadhaar number and you will have to put your OTP, and Aadhaar authentication will be done. Then only your form is submitted. Or they give you maximum 15 days ka time to do the Aadhaar authentication, means the link is valid for 15 days. Once 15 days gets over, then it will be deemed that your form is submitted. Everyone over here, it says submit part B of GST REC01. When you are submitting, have you opted for Aadhaar authentication? If you go ahead and say yes, if you go ahead and tell a yes over here, it means your form is not complete unless you do the Aadhaar authentication. So, sir, they are going ahead and telling the date of submission is date of Aadhaar authentication, means the day you go online, put your Aadhaar number, put your OTP and verify, or 15 days from the submission of part B, because the link is valid for 15 days. Once 15 days gets over, only then it will be deemed that your form has been submitted, and one acknowledgement will be given in GST REC02. This point not required to understand now, we'll understand later. Sir, if I am a person who is not opted for Aadhaar authentication, means I am required Aadhaar authentication but I did not opt. Tell me one thing, everyone, if you go ahead and did not say yes, means you have kept it no over here. If you did not opt for Aadhaar authentication, the day you go ahead and submit the form, it means you have told the officer already, I will not do Aadhaar authentication. The officer is not waiting for anything. So they are going ahead and telling, if you did not go ahead and opt for Aadhaar authentication, the actual date of submission of part B is the date of submission of the form, and one acknowledgement will be given. I hope everyone is clear. When you are going ahead and opting for Aadhaar authentication, the day you do your Aadhaar authentication. So today I submitted the form, today you submitted part B, link came, link may, when you do the verification, only then your form is submitted. Or once 15 days gets over, supposedly one link came, I did not go ahead and do the verification, only when the 15 days ka period gets over, then 16th day it will be deemed that you have submitted the form, because the officer was waiting for you. Officer will wait only for 15 days. But if you have not gone ahead and opted for Aadhaar authentication, the day you submit your part B, that is only your deemed as your date of submission of application. Is the point clear till here, everyone? Quickly give me a heads up. Is the point clear? Part A and part B, when you are going ahead and submitting, what is the date of submission? Is the point clear to all? Can we go ahead? Yes, sir, the point is clear. Let's go ahead now. Everyone over here. So it says rule number 8, application. Once you go ahead and apply, now tell me one thing. Once you have gone ahead and applied, the form has come to me. What will I do as an officer? I will go ahead and start the verification. Everything is done correctly or not. Yes or no? So the next step which comes over here is rule number 9, verification. What will happen in verification? Examine. Officer will go ahead and examine your document. Oh, rental agreement he has put or not. He will go ahead and verify. So sir, he will go ahead and examine the application plus the accompanying document. Now, if you are a person notified under 6D, that is for you Aadhaar authentication is not required, then sir, if Aadhaar authentication is not required, for whom? And New Delhi PSU, for them Aadhaar authentication is not required. If you are a person for whom Aadhaar authentication is not required, they have gone ahead and told, sir, the day you submit the form, the day you have submitted the part B, within 7 days from the submission, we will approve your registration. And rule number 10 says registration certificate showing your principal place and additional place of business along with your GSTN number will be made available to you by the proper officer. Sir, I went ahead and filled the form. I am not required Aadhaar authentication because I am NDL PSU. Then they are going ahead and telling, once you submit your form, proper officer will go ahead and grant you the registration within how many days? 7 days. But here, the earlier was 3 days. Now the amendment is, this 3 days has been deleted. Amendment is, you will be given registration within 7 days. Is the first amendment clear to all? Quickly tell me everyone. Is 3 days ko 7 days they have made? Is this point clear to all? If you go ahead and submit your application and everything is in order, they will grant you the registration. Earlier it was told 3 days. Now it is told that you will be granted registration within how many days? 7 days you will be granted registration. Yes sir, the point is clear. Chalo, let's go ahead. Everyone over here now. Next. If person is notified under 6D and Aadhaar authentication is not required, then within 7 days from submission, they will go ahead and approve grant of registration, and rule number 10 says registration certificate shall be issued to you. Next. Sir, if application is in order, supposingly, I am a person who is required Aadhaar authentication. Who is required Aadhaar authentication? IAMK. They are required Aadhaar authentication. They are telling, if application is in order, applicant is required Aadhaar authentication, means IAMK, individual, authorized signatory, managing and authorized partner, and Karta. All these 4 people are required Aadhaar authentication. If these 4 people are there, plus they have opted also for Aadhaar authentication. Number 1, you are required Aadhaar authentication. Number 2, you opted also. Number 3, Aadhaar authentication successful also. Very good. Application is also fine. Everyone. Application also is correct. Plus Aadhaar authentication also you have done. Then they are going ahead and telling, we will go ahead within 7 days, approve the grant of registration, and rule number 10 says, registration certificate will be issued in GST REC 06. 7 days mein they are telling, we will go ahead and grant you the registration. Over here now, so they are telling, if application is in order, you have opted for, you are required Aadhaar authentication, you have opted also, Aadhaar authentication successful also, then they are telling, within 7 days, earlier this was 3 days, now they have gone ahead and told, officer will get 7 days, within 7 days from the submission, approve the grant of registration, and rule number 10 says, issue registration certificate in GST REC 06. Next. Now, the next one over here is, sir, if application is in order, I am required Aadhaar authentication, I have opted also, number 2, but Aadhaar authentication failed. Sir, my mobile number mein OTP did not come only. When I took Aadhaar number, the mobile number was different. So they are telling, if Aadhaar authentication failed, then first thing the officer will do is, he will come to your place of business. Physical verification will be done. He will come to your place of business and see whether you are actually doing business or not. So, physical verification and other document verification as the proper officer deems fit, and within 30 days of submission of application, they will go ahead and approve the registration, and registration certificate will be made available to you. So, sir, if you don't go ahead and do, if you fail Aadhaar authentication, number 1, Aadhaar authentication was required, you are IAMK, plus you opted also. Thirdly, but you could not go ahead and do the verification, Aadhaar authentication failed, then they are telling, amendment, whatever is the green portion is the amendment. They will first come to your place of business, they will see actually you are doing place of business or not, and then only they will go ahead and within 30 days. So now officer has not set 7 days, it is now officer has 30 days from the date of submission. Actually it was 21 days. Now officer has been given 30 days. It was 21 days earlier. Now officer has been given 30 days to go ahead and do the physical verification will be done, and then within 30 days from the date of submission of the application, they will go ahead and give you the registration certificate. And rule number 10 says registration certificate shall be issued. Next. Now over here everyone, sir, I went ahead, application was in order, Aadhaar authentication was required, but I did not opt only. You did not opt only Aadhaar authentication. Then also they are telling physical verification will be done, and then within 30 days of submission of the application, then we will go ahead and grant the registration certificate, and registration certificate shall be made available. Sir, I went ahead and did application is on order. Aadhaar authentication is required. IAMK. I opted also. I did successfully also, but proper officer thinks no. Aadhaar authentication is successful. Still, I am doubtful. I want to go and check. PO deems it, proper officer deems it fit to carry out physical verification of place of business. Then first he will come and do physical verification of the place of business, and then within 30 days of the submission of application, he will go ahead and approve the registration. Quickly tell me, is the point clear to all? Sir, first of all, I am not required Aadhaar authentication. Then within 7 days of the submission of the application, he will go ahead and grant the registration. Sir, I am required Aadhaar authentication. Then application is correct. Aadhaar authentication also done. Application is also correct. Aadhaar authentication is also done. Then they are going ahead and telling, sir, we will go ahead and grant you the registration within 7 days, because application is also fine and Aadhaar authentication is also done. We will grant the registration within 7 days. Sir, application is in order. Aadhaar authentication failed, or you did not opt for Aadhaar authentication, or proper officer, in spite of going ahead and doing Aadhaar authentication, deems it fit to carry out physical verification. First he will do physical verification, and then he will go ahead and grant the registration certificate within 30 days of submission of application. That's all. Now, this was when your application is in order. Sir, if my application is not in order, then they are telling, if application found deficient, application mein problem is there, then always remember, they will, okay, application is found deficient, but Aadhaar authentication is fine. Aadhaar authentication required, opted also, Aadhaar authentication successful also. You have opted, required, you are required, you opted also, and Aadhaar authentication successful also. Then they are telling, for physical verification will not come, because Aadhaar authentication is done. But sir, because application is not in order, we want some clarification, information and document. For that, CID, clarification, information and document. For that, they will go ahead and give you a notice. Now again, within 7 days, how many days? Within 7 days they will give you the notice. See, if application is in order, Aadhaar authentication is done, within 7 days they will grant you registration, or within 7 days they will give you the notice. Within 7 days they will give you the notice. Now you will have to go ahead and submit the clarification information within how many days? Within the next 7 days. If once you give the clarification, proper officer is satisfied, within the next 7 days he will go ahead and grant you the registration certificate. Sir, if the officer is not satisfied, or I don't go ahead and reply within 7 days, then he may record the reason and reject the application and inform you in GST REC 05. Sir, application is not fine. For application not fine, he will always give you GST REC 03, and Baba, Aadhaar authentication is done, so no problem. He will not come for physical verification. Now, sir, two problem. Sir, application is also found deficient, plus Aadhaar authentication required, you did not opt, or you failed Aadhaar authentication, or in spite of doing Aadhaar authentication, proper officer deems it fit to carry out physical verification. Then first, right over here, physical verification he will do of your place of business. Then he will go ahead and give you a notice in GST REC 03 within 30 days from the date of submission of the application. That, see, always remember one thing, Aadhaar authentication not done, or PO deems it necessary for carrying out physical verification, he will do physical verification. Then he will give you within 30 days of submission GST REC 03. The GST REC 03 ka time limit was 7 days, but because Aadhaar authentication is not done, they have given you now 30 days ka time. So sir, what is it telling over here? if application is deficit, see, application is deficit, Aadhaar authentication required, but you did not opt. First, because application is deficit, REC03 also to be given. Did not opt for Aadhaar authentication, or Aadhaar authentication failed, or PO deems it necessary to carry out physical verification. First, he will do physical verification, then he will issue REC03 within how many days? Now, not 7 days. REC03 within 30 days of submission of the application. You go ahead and submit the clarification. If he likes it, he will grant the registration. If he doesn't like it, he will go ahead, or you did not go ahead and reply, he will reject the application. Quickly tell me, is the point clear till here? Quickly everyone, give me a heads up. Is the point clear till here? Can we go ahead? Earlier, all these 7 days were how many days? 3 days. This 30 days was how many days? 21 days. Now made 30 days. Is the point clear till here? Can we go ahead everyone? Yes sir, the point is clear. Let's go ahead. People watching, quickly you will have to let me know that the point is clear so that I can go ahead. Yes sir, the point is clear. Chalo, now next. Sir, you know what happened? PO failed to take action. Within how many days? Within 7 days of submission of successful Aadhaar authentication. Everyone listen. If you have gone ahead and done Aadhaar authentication successfully, within 7 days he has to go ahead and grant you the registration. Within 7 days he did not go ahead and grant you the registration. Then they are telling application deemed to be approved and GSTN number and registration certificate shall be made available within the next 3 days post expiry of 7 days. You will have to make it 7 days. 7 days. Earlier it was 3 days. Now it is 7 days. So once the 7 days ka window gets over, you will be granted the registration certificate. Okay. Means automatic approval will be given if proper officer fails to take action within the 7 days. Okay. Sir, I have not done Aadhaar authentication or PO feels it necessary to do physical verification. Then within 30 days he should grant me the registration. If 30 days from the date of submission, if PO does not go ahead and take, means if 30 days, if PO fails to take action within 30 days from the submission, in case of failure for opting for Aadhaar authentication or not opting for Aadhaar authentication or physical verification was required, but sir, proper officer did not go ahead and grant the registration within 30 days, then application will be deemed to be approved and registration certificate will be made available within the next 3 days post expiry of 30 days. Post expiry of the 30 days. Next. Sir, I gave the clarification. Proper officer should go ahead and grant me the registration or reject the application within 7 days. He did not go ahead and do anything. If proper officer fails to take action within 7 days of receipt of clarification, information or document, then Baba, if he did not go ahead and take any action within the next 3 days, after the expiry of the 7 days, application shall be deemed to be approved. And Baba, you will be given the registration certificate. So here you will become a registered person. Quickly tell me, is the point clear till here? I am telling you, always remember one thing. If you don't go ahead and give the application, if you don't go ahead and give the application correctly, GST REC03 will come. If Aadhaar authentication is not done or proper officer deems it necessary to carry out physical verification, then Baba, he will come for, or Aadhaar authentication is not done, he will come for physical verification of the place of business. 3 days was there earlier, which is now made 7 days. 21 days was there for physical verification. Now it has been made 30 days. Always remember this much. Let's go ahead, everyone, over here. Small crux is this only. Mohit, small crux is this only. Application is in order, 7 days may he'll approve. Earlier it was 3 days, now 7 days. Application is not in order. Application, yes, procedures of registration is a lengthy chapter. You will have to go ahead and read that. Now, application is not in order. Then he will go ahead and give you a GST REC03 within 7 days. See, application is in order plus Aadhaar authentication done. Everyone over here. First of all, application is in order, Aadhaar authentication done. 7 days may they will grant. Sir, application is in order. You failed to do Aadhaar authentication. Then Baba, first physical verification will be done. And then within 30 days. Sir, application is deficit. Then they are going ahead and telling GST REC03 within how many days? 7 days. Within 7 days, GST REC 03 will be given. Sir, because here Aadhaar authentication is successful, but if application is deficit, for that GST REC 03 will come. Aadhaar authentication not done or physical verification of the place of business is required. First, he will do physical verification and then notice will be given in 30 days. 3 days made 7 days. 21 days earlier it was, now made 30 days. That's all. Let's go ahead, everyone, over here now. Listen, once you become a registered person, always remember one thing. Once you become a registered person, always remember one thing. If while taking registration, you have not given your bank account detail, you will have to now go ahead. You will have to go ahead, and if you are a registered person, while applying for registration, if you are not gone ahead and given your bank account detail, now you will have to go ahead and furnish your bank account details within how many days? Within due date of monthly return, first monthly return, or from the date of grant of registration 45 days or 45 days, whichever is earlier. Applicable if you have not gone ahead and furnished your bank account detail within when you were applying for registration. Everyone over here, see, rule number 10 says, sir, you should furnish your bank account detail within how many time? Within the due date of monthly return or 45 days, whichever is earlier. So I was granted registration over here. This is the due date of monthly return. This is 45 days from registration. I have to go ahead and furnish my bank account details over here. I have to go online and put my bank account details, because once you are granted registration certificate, you will go to the bank, open your bank account, then the bank account details can be furnished. Please come to the left hand side, everyone. One important point over here. Sir, if you go ahead and submit the application within 30 days, I became liable, I should submit the application within 30 days. I submitted over here, registration certificate granted, registration certificate will be valid from the date you become liable. Sir, I became liable, I should apply for registration within 30 days. I did not apply within 30 days. So if you don't apply within 30 days, you applied over here and then registration was granted. Registration will be valid from the date of grant. Always remember one thing, everyone, over here. You became liable. You should always apply for registration within how many days? 30 days. If you go ahead and apply for registration over here, and here registration certificate is granted, registration certificate shall be valid from the date of becoming liable. Okay, sir, if I don't go ahead and apply within 30 days, I became liable over here. I did not apply within 30 days. I applied over here, and here registration certificate is granted. Registration certificate is valid from the date of grant. Always remember this. If you are granted registration certificate, you applied within 30 days and then you are granted registration certificate, it is valid from the date of becoming liable. But if you applied after 30 days and you are granted registration certificate is valid from the date of grant. I hope people are clear over here. Can we go ahead? Yes, sir. Let's go ahead. Next. So it says if application is submitted within 30 days of becoming liable, yes, sir, then application is effective. Means registration is effective from the date of becoming liable. Sir, if I did not go ahead and submit within 30 days, then registration is effective from the date of grant. Please come down. One small point over here is PO, proper officer, has the power to do physical verification. Baba, proper officer can come to your place of business either before grant of registration also or after grant of registration also, and he can do physical premises ka verification. When he comes to your physical premises ka verification, he will take all the photographs and all, and then he will upload those photographs in GST REC 30. One form is there, he will upload online. Okay, sir, that is told by rule number 25. Next, rule number 10A, you should go ahead and furnish your bank account detail within due date of first monthly return or 45 days from the grant of registration, whichever is earlier. So, sir, rule number 18 is the next one. It says, sir, once you are granted your registration certificate, please get it framed, not get it framed. They are telling, please go ahead and put it in your principal place of business. It says, display your registration certificate in the prominent location at your place of business and additional place of business, and also display your GSTN number on the name board exhibited at the entry. Means you should put your GSTN number at the entry of your place of business. When people are entering, they should be able to see your GSTN number. Here we are done with section number 25. Is the point clear to all? Can we go ahead, everyone? Quickly give me a heads up. Is the point clear till here? People watching, I am waiting for everyone to quickly go ahead and comment and tell me, is it clear till here? Can we go ahead? Anything can be expected in the exam. You will have to go ahead and see and revise from the chart again and again. Only then you will be able to remember. No one is able to remember just like that. It will never be fitted in your brain unless you go ahead and see it again and again. You will have to go ahead and revise the chart again and again. See, I can show you the path. In the path, walking is your job, right? You will have to put some hard work. I am explaining it to you. Now also, if you go ahead and tell me, sir, what are the chances of this coming in the exam? 100% this will come. We have gone ahead and put effort. There is an amendment also. It can come. You have to revise it again and again and go. You can't leave things just like that here. Correct? Because this is a part of the amendment also can come in the exam. Important part. This is an important because the green ones which are there are amendment. Let's go ahead everyone over here. Registration chapter 1 question 4 marks and 1 2 marks ka question. I believe 6 marks to 7 marks will definitely come in the exam this time. Next, please come down now. See, one, this registration ka procedure you should remember and go. You can't leave it and go. The next one, this 6D which I have told you. Who are the people not required Aadhaar authentication? This is also very important. Why, sir? Because this is again an amendment. Earlier, who are the people who are not required Aadhaar authentication was different. Now, these are the people who are not required Aadhaar authentication. I have already told you, New Delhi, PSU. Please remember this, 3 mark ka one question can go ahead and come in the exam. I have also gone ahead and given one question over here in our statutory update. Please read the question and go. More than this, I will not be able to do anything. You will have to put some efforts, right everyone? It's your exam. You definitely have to put effort. Chalo, let's go ahead. The next one, please come back everyone. Everyone over here. Section number 25 1 done. Section number 25 2 says if you have multiple, if you want multiple registration, you can go ahead. Sir, supposingly, everyone over here. Person having multiple place of business in state or UT may be granted separate registration. In the state of Karnataka, for an example, I have 2 place of business. For an example, I have 1 office, 1 warehouse, 1 factory, 1 office over here. Can I take separate registration? Yes, Baba, you can go ahead and take separate registration. That is told by section number 25(2). Separate application, separate verification will happen and separate registration certificate will be given. Section number 25(3) goes ahead and says, sir, if I want to be the Bakra, I want to take registration. I am not liable, but I want to take. If you want to take, no one is stopping you. Please go ahead and take. But once you take registration voluntarily, you have to go ahead and behave like a taxable person, normal registered person. Please issue tax invoice, charge tax, file your returns, make the tax payment. Everything has to be done. Section number 25(2), multiple place. Can I take multiple registration? Yes, sir, you can go ahead and take. Section number 25(3), sir, voluntary registration can I take? Yes, Baba. Section number 25(3) says if you are not liable also and you want to take, please go ahead and apply and you can go ahead and take registration voluntarily. Section number 25(4) and 5, distinct person. Do you remember section number 25(4) and 5? I have already told you about distinct person. Who are distinct person, everyone? Same state, separate registration, distinct person. One state registered, one state, another state registered, distinct person. One state registered, one state not registered, distinct person. Yes, sir, you have already gone ahead and told about it. Next, whenever you are going ahead and applying for registration, PAN number is mandatory. This TDS deductor wala point, you can delete it. Why, sir? Because TDS deductor is not IPC level ka or intermediate level ka question. Okay, sir. So, sir, when you are applying for registration, PAN number is mandatory. Then 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D talks about Aadhaar authentication, which I have already gone ahead and told you. Correct, everyone? 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D, I have already told you it is talking about Aadhaar authentication. Yes, sir. Next, section number 25(7) tells about NRTP. Who is an NRTP? Non-resident taxable person who is coming from outside India to do business in India. And NRTP also has to go ahead and take registration. Sir, he has to apply in GST REC 09. NRTP ka application goes in GST REC 09. Not very important. We'll read it quickly. Self-attested copy of passport he has to attach together and he has to go ahead and apply for 5 days prior. 5 days prior to registration, he'll have to go ahead and prior to commencement of business, you will have to go ahead and apply for registration. When you are going ahead and applying, everyone listen to me very carefully. NRTP के लिए government have gone ahead and told that when you are going ahead and applying for registration, please make sure that you have paid your tax in advance. Then rule number 9 and rule number 10 will be applicable. Mutatis mutandis means verification will happen, and rule number 10 says registration certificate shall be granted. Application made by NRTP shall be signed by an authorized signatory who is basically a resident of India and having a PAN number. For an example, when resident is coming, NRTP is coming from outside India and applying for registration in India, it has to be always signed by a person who is a resident in India and having a PAN number. Okay, sir. This is about section number 25(7). Sir, what did I tell you in section number 25? Everyone over here, I'll revise quickly. Registration chapter mein I taught you section number 22. Section number 22(1). Can you please recall and tell me section number 22(1), everyone? Sir, supplier is liable when he goes ahead and crosses 10 lakh, 20 lakh or 40 lakh. Yes, sir. Section number 25(2). Existing registered person is liable. Section number 25(3). Sir, transferee shall be liable. Section number 25(4). Transferee in case of court order. Yes, sir, we remember. Then section number 23 goes ahead and talks about section number 23(1). A and B. A tells if you are not liable to pay any tax, don't take registration. B talks about agriculturist. Section number 23 2 says people who will be notified by the government will not be required registration. Means government has exempted some people by using the power under section number 23(2). Then section number 24 told about compulsory registration. Who are the people who are required compulsory registration, everyone? Sir, interstate supplier is required compulsory registration. If you are a CTP, you are required compulsory registration. NRTP is required compulsory registration. If you are required to pay tax under reverse charge, compulsory registration. And the last one which was there, can you tell me which was the last one, everyone? Quick, everyone. Sir, okay. Harshita is telling Karen. Okay, agent. Okay. Harshita is telling CA RIN. Do dala RIN. CA RIN. Okay, everyone. Can we go ahead? Yes, sir. CA RIN is the mnemonic. People who want to remember can remember CA Do dala RIN. Okay, sir. We will remember this. Next. Let's go ahead. Section number 25 now. What is section number 25 going ahead and telling? Section number 25 says people who are liable. 25(1) says if you are liable, please apply within 30 days. CTP and RTP will apply 5 days prior. SCZ will take separate registration. And sir, if you are in the territorial water, please take in the nearest coastal state. Rule number 8 told application. Rule number 9 told verification. Rule number 10, registration certificate will be granted. 10A went ahead and told you will have to put bank account details. 25(2), if you have multiple place of business, you can take multiple registration, separate application, separate verification, separate registration certificate shall be granted. 25(3) told Bakra, voluntary registration. If you want, you can go ahead and take voluntary registration as per section number 25(3). 25(4) and 25(5) talks about distinct person. So our same state, separate registration, distinct person. Different state, different registration, distinct person. One state registered, one state not registered, distinct person. 6 told about PAN is mandatory. When you want to take registration, you need your PAN number. 25(7) told NRTP. Okay, 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D told about Aadhaar authentication. Yes, sir, we remember Aadhaar authentication. I believe very important is who is not required Aadhaar authentication in your exam this time. Next, NRTP ke liye section number 25(7) is there. Quickly give me a heads up. Is everyone clear till here? Yes, everyone. Are we all clear? Can we go ahead? Yes, everyone. Do like the video if you guys are enjoying it. Yes, sir. We are all enjoying it. Chalo, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, everyone now. ठीक है? Chalo, now. Okay, here. Section number 25(8). 25(8) goes ahead and says, if you fail to take registration, proper officer will go ahead. I already crossed 20 lakh ka turnover. I failed to take registration. I already crossed 40 lakh. I did not take registration. Proper officer will catch and take registration. It says if you fail to take registration, proper officer will go ahead and catch you and take the registration. It is told over here. I will just quickly read this out. Not very important, so we'll go ahead and read this out quickly. It says, if you are liable but you did not take and in an investigation you are caught, then proper officer will go ahead and issue a order GST REG 12 and give you registration. Okay, sir. Now, when he issued you an REG 12 and told that you are registered, you have to go online and formally take registration. You will be given 30 days. So, PO, if you fail to take registration, proper officer will go ahead and register you temporarily. Now, you will be given 90 days. In 90 days, you can go ahead and file an appeal, or you can go ahead and submit your application. Application verification will happen and registration certificate will be granted. Registration certificate will be effective from the day the proper officer gave you REG 12. Sir, or else I went for an appeal. Appeal में appellate authority, AA means appellate authority, CA final level का syllabus again. Appellate authority went ahead and put your order on the site. They told, hey, this officer, what he's telling, total bakwas. Then, Baba, you don't have to take registration. Appellate authority told, hey, you have to take registration. Then, please go ahead and take registration within the next 30 days. Submit your application and take your registration. That's it. Let's go ahead now. Sir, section number 25.9 now. Section number 25.9 goes ahead and says, if you are a specialized agency of the United Nation का specialized agency, MFIO, organization under the United Nation Act, consulate, embassy and notified class of person, you will be given unique identification number for the purpose including refund of taxes paid on notified supplies. So, sir, all these United Nation organization, consulate, embassies are given what? UIN number. They are given UIN number. UIN number which is granted because whenever they are purchasing anything, whatever tax they have paid, no, they are given refund by the government. So, government is telling you can take UIN number for the purpose of claiming refund. That's it. Sir, do I have to go ahead and take UIN number in all the state? No. If US Embassy is there in India, it is there in Chennai also and Delhi also. Then US Embassy does not have to go ahead and take UIN number in Delhi also and Chennai also. One UIN is valid across India. They can apply, and once PO has done the verification, PO will grant the UIN within 3 days. UIN is applicable to the whole of territory of India. Next. So it is telling, so if you are a UIN holder, whenever you are buying something, you would have GST paid. This GST ka refund will be given because outward supply pe there is no tax. Whatever GST has been paid by a UIN holder, that refund will be given to a person who has gone ahead and taken a UIN. UIN is given only to those people who are basically consulate, embassy, United Nation ka under a organization under the United Nation Act, etc. Next. People, I am being a little fast in those points which are not required, not very important for an exam point of view. We'll have to concentrate on things which are more important, right? Chalo, let's go ahead. Everyone over here. Then, section number 26 talks about deemed registration. What do you mean by deemed registration? Sir, I am registered under Karnataka SGST Act. Deemed registered under CGST Act also. You don't have to go ahead and apply under CGST Act also, SGST Act also, IGST Act also. Karnataka mein SGST Act mein you applied, you are deemed registered under CGST Act also. Karnataka SGST Act mein your registration rejected, deemed registration rejected under CGST Act also. This is total bakwas section. Let's go ahead everyone now. Please come to the next one. What did I tell you till now? I went ahead and told registration ka chapter. I am trying my best so that you guys can remember everything. Over here everyone. Section number 22 which is there talks about people who are liable. 23 talks about people who are not liable. Section number 24 talks about CA RIN, compulsory registration. Section number 25 talks about number 1, 30 days may you have to apply for registration. Number 2, multiple place of business, multiple registration. 3 told about voluntary registration. 4 is going ahead and telling about 4 and 5 is talking about distinct person. 6 is talking about PAN. 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D talks about other authentication. 7 talks about NRTP. 8 talks about suo moto and 9 talks about UIN holder. I hope everyone is clear. Then we have section number 26. Section number 26 which is there is total bakwas, deemed registration. Registration granted under SGST, registration granted under CGST, registration rejected under SGST, registration rejected under CGST Act also. Can we go ahead everyone? Yes people. Sir, will the lecture be extended? Today might be till 11:45. Can we go ahead everyone? Yes sir, let's go ahead. We are clear till here. Now we have section number 27 which is there. Let's go ahead and discuss section number 27 now. Section number 27 which is there talks about special provision for CTP or NRTP. Special provision for CTP or NRTP. If you are a casual taxable person, everyone, I'll quickly talk about casual taxable person and NRTP. Everyone over here, if you are going to commence your business over here, 5 days prior you have to apply for registration. Always remember, a CTP and NRTP has to go ahead and apply for registration 5 days prior to commencement of business. You cannot go ahead and make taxable supplies unless your registration certificate has been issued. So you have to apply always 5 days prior. A CTP is applying in GST REC 01. NRTP will apply in GST REC 09 along with a self-attested copy of passport, which I have already told you. Sitara, it will take some time. It will take some time. Once the CA inter ka revision gets over, only then CA final amendment video I'll release. Okay. If you keep posting it again and again, I'm telling you now only, CA final amendment video, it will come only after I'm done with the CA inter ka revision. Okay. Now, everyone over here now. I'll be releasing it. Don't worry. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here. CTP GST REC 09, NRTP GST REC 0, CTP REC 01, NRTP REC 09. Along with that, you will have to go ahead and pay net estimated tax liability in advance. Means whenever you are going ahead and applying as CTP or NRTP, please go ahead and pay your tax liability in advance. How much is the sale you are going to make? How much is the input tax credit you are going to have? Output and input you estimate, and accordingly you pay the net estimated tax liability, and the amount will be credited to your e-cash ledger. Only once you go ahead and pay your tax liability in advance, PO will go ahead and do the verification and registration certificate will be granted. Once the registration certificate will be granted, always remember, a CTP or NRTP is given registration maximum for how many days, everyone? 90 days ke liye he is given registration. 90 days ke liye he is given registration. A CTP or NRTP is given registration for how many days? 90 days. But sir, if I have applied for 15 days or 90 days, whichever is earlier. Registration certificate is valid for period specified or 90 days, whichever is earlier. Always remember this. CTP or NRTP ke liye registration certificate is valid for period specified or 90 days, whichever is earlier. So sir, supposingly I took for 90 days, I want extension. Then they are going ahead and telling before the original is going to expire, if you want, CTP or NRTP can go ahead and apply for extension also. Extension ke liye, it is told rule number 11 is applicable. For extended period, additional estimated tax liability has to be paid. Additional extension can be given maximum how many days? So sir, 90 days plus maximum 90 days means total CTP you can be how many days? 180 days. Sir, more than 180 days if I want, more than 180 days is not possible. Always remember one thing, everyone, more than 180 days is not possible. If you want more than 180 days, they're telling further extension beyond 180 days is not possible. If by chance exhibition is extended by more than 180 days, take normal registration. You don't have to pay any advance tax, etc. Normal registered person, once month gets over, 20th you can pay now. And when you are leaving and going, please surrender your registration and go. Here it is telling about the CTP and NRTP ka provision. Everyone over here, if you are a CTP or NRTP, you are going to commence your business 5 days prior, please go ahead and apply. When you are applying, please pay your tax liability in advance. Once you go ahead and apply, PO will do the verification, registration certificate will be granted. One registration certificate is granted, it is always granted for period which you have asked or 90 days, whichever is earlier. If you have asked for 15 days or 90 days, 15 days ke liye it will be given. Once your period gets over, before the period is about to get over, if you want extension, you can get extension also. But always remember, maximum period for which you can be a casual taxable person is 90 plus 90, 180 days. Once 180 days gets over, if you still want extension, government is telling you are no more a casual now. You are no more casual. You please go ahead and take normal registration. Please go ahead and apply for normal registration. Take normal registration when you are leaving the state and going. Cancel your registration and go. Are we clear with CTP and NRTP, everyone? Can we go to the next section? Is everyone clear with CTP and NRTP? Can we move to the next section now, everyone? Yes, people. Yes, sir. We are all clear. Chalo. Let's go ahead and now move to the next section which is there. The next section is section number 28. Everyone, what did we learn? We learned registration में section number 22, people who are liable. 23, people who are not liable. 24, people who are required compulsory registration, CA RIN. Section number 25, I went ahead and told you about all this thing. 26 told about deemed registration, total bakwas. Section number 27 told about CTP and NRTP ka special provision. Now we have section number 28. Sir, I have taken registration. I want to amend my registration. When you want to do the amendment, see, amendment can be of three types. One is core field. Core field means main field you want to amend. Non-core field. Non-core field means other than core field, all are non-core field. Might be you want to change your bank account detail. There, no verification, etc. is required. These are known as non-core field. Non-core fields are those fields where basically verification, etc. is not required. And the next is change in constitution, which is resulting in a change in PAN number. So if there is a PAN number change, what will happen? So they are telling over here, number one, if there is a PAN change. Sir, PAN change means I had taken the registration. Now I have transferred the business to someone else. Now someone else will have separate PAN number. Your registration number, center part is always, see, registration comes like this. 29 is your state code. CCBPS 7778R. Supposingly this is your PAN number. Then you have 1, Z, 6, like this, one number is there. So sir, the center part is your PAN number. You are telling I transferred my business. His PAN number you put in between, sir. Government is telling, hey, you please go ahead and cancel your registration and tell that other person to go ahead and take fresh registration. Amendment in PAN is not possible. Whenever PAN change is there, means the business has been transferred to another person. Please tell that person to take fresh registration. Amendment is not possible. Next. Sir, non-core field means small fields ka changes is happening. Non-core field means nothing. Please go ahead and apply in GST RG 14. Your bank account detail has changed. Email address has changed. Government is telling what is there to verify. Just go online, put RG 14 mein details and registration will be amended. No verification, etc. Now, you are telling, sir, my legal name of business I want to change. Sir, address I want to change of the principal place of business and additional place of business. Sir, there is a retirement in partner, Karta, director, managing committee, board of trustees, CEO who are responsible for day-to-day affairs of the business. But we don't want cancellation. These people are, anyone is changing. Then they are telling, in this thing, what will happen? PO will do the verification. In all this part, basically, proper officer ka approval is required. Okay, everyone. So what will happen over here? Whenever there is a change, please within 15 days apply in GST RG 14 along with the document. Once you go ahead and apply, proper officer will go ahead and verify. Simple. You applied, proper officer will go ahead and verify because core main field mein proper officer ka verification is required. Now, PO when he is doing the verification, he is telling, okay, amendment is required, documents are complete and correct, then he will go ahead and approve the amendment within 15 days and issue you an order in GST RG 15. Okay, sir. Sir, proper officer thinks that amendment is not required. You are doing time pass or documents are not complete. Then he will give you a GST RG 03 within, serve GST RG 03. See, either within 15 days he will approve or he will give GST RG 03 within 15 days. Now, and he will ask you to show cause. Why I should not reject your application. You will have to show the cause why your application should not be rejected. Go ahead, reply. If your reply is satisfactory, he will go ahead and approve the amendment and issue RG 15. If he doesn't like your reply, he will go ahead and reject the application. So what happened, everyone? You applied in GST RG 14. Proper officer did the verification. He saw everything is correct. He will grant the amendment. Sir, if he did not find everything is correct or might be you want some clarification, he will give you RG 03. You go ahead and reply. Once you reply, if he likes what you replied, he will go ahead and grant the amendment and issue RG 15. If he doesn't like what you replied, then Baba, he will reject the application. Always remember, whenever amendment approval is given, it is always given from the date of application. So, amendment actually director left here. I applied after 15 days. No, sir, can you give me retrospective amendment? Retrospective amendment can be only given by commissioner by a order. Always remember, amendment is always effective from the date of application. If you want a retrospective amendment, it can be given only by a commissioner by order. Note, whenever you are going ahead and changing your mobile number, email address, it can be changed through OTP. If, sir, officer has to go ahead and approve within how many days? 15 days. Or once you go ahead and reply, no, everyone over here. Once you go ahead and reply, no, then also to approve or reject, 7 days ka time is given to the officer. If within 15 days, he did not go ahead and give you REC03 or he did not approve, or once you reply within 7 days he did not approve or he did not reject, then they are telling deemed approval, automatically approval will be done by the portal. That's all has been told. Always remember, amendment in 3 field. Amendment is of 3 type: core field, non-core field, PAN change. Core field, approval of the PO is required. Non-core, just file GST REC 14, amendment will be done. PAN change, fresh registration to be applied. Is section number 28 clear to all? Quickly let me know, everyone. Is section number 28 clear to all? Can we go ahead? Yes, people. Is section number 28 clear to all? Can we move to section number 29, which is a part of the amendment? Section number 27 and 28 are okay because it's not a part of the amendment. Still, please read and go. Don't leave it and go. Can we go ahead and move to section number 29 now? Section number 29. Okay, everyone. If we are moving to section number 29, first we will revise till section number 28 and then move to section number 29. What is section number? Registration chapter. What did we go ahead and learn? Everyone, I am revising. Everyone has to revise with me. Section number 22, we went ahead and learned people who are liable. Section number 21, supplier is liable. Section number 22, existing registered person. 3, transferee. 4th, also transferee. Section number 23 went ahead and told about people who are not liable. Section number 23, 1, 8 went ahead and told about people who are not liable. Who are the people who are not liable? Who are not liable to pay any tax or who are supplying those goods which are exempted are not liable to pay, take registration. B told about agriculturist is also not liable to take registration. Next, section number 21, B, 23, 1, A and B done. 23, 2 told about people who are notified are also not required to take registration. Okay. Then 24 told about CA RIN compulsory registration. 25 told about procedures, which we just now learned. 26 told about deemed registration. 27 told about CTP and NRTP. 28 told about amendment. People, if you are revising it again and again at home, you will not need to go ahead and forget. You will remember everything. There is nothing which is difficult if you are going ahead and practicing or revising again and again. I will suggest that for practice of question answers, you use the ICAI ka study material which is there. Beautiful examples, beautiful question, beautiful illustrations have been given. In your exam, they will ask from there only. They will modify those example illustrations and they will ask you from there. So you can go ahead and might as well, for ease, what you can do is you can go ahead and use your ICAI ka study material which is there. Along with that, what you can do is the suggested answer of the old exams which I've held, those also you can go ahead and practice. That will be more than enough. Can we go ahead? Yes, sir. Now we have, so if you have my material which is GST total, that also has all the questions. You can practice from there also. Now we have section number 29. Please come to section number 29, everyone. Everyone over here. Section number 29 talks about cancellation. Important for your exam. Why, sir? Because there is a amendment which has come. Section number 29 says, when can registration be cancelled? Section number 29(1) says, proper officer can cancel your registration, or you can apply, or if one person has died, legal hire also can apply for cancellation. Exam question: when can registration cancellation be applied by a registered person or legal hire? Sir, when business is discontinued, I discontinued my business or I transferred my business, I can go ahead and apply for cancellation. Change in constitution of the business, proprietorship was there, now became partnership. When there is a change in constitution, new PAN number is there, new PAN number, new registration to be taken, old registration to be cancelled. Sir, taxable person is no longer liable for registration under section number 22 or 24. Means what happened? I am no more doing interstate supply. If I am not doing interstate supply under section number 24, I am not required registration. Or might be, now the turnover limit has been made 40 lakh for my state. I am always having 25 lakh turnover only. Then they are telling you are not required registration. You can go ahead and apply for cancellation. Or you intend to opt out of voluntary registration. This is a new amendment which has come. Earlier, this point was not there. Now they have gone ahead and added the point over here saying if you have taken voluntary registration also, then also you can go online and apply for cancellation of your registration. Can you tell me what are the three scenarios when a registered person or legal hire can apply for registration, or the proper officer can also go ahead and apply? Proper officer also can go ahead and cancel your registration. Number one, sir, business discontinued or transferred. Number two, change in constitution of business. Number three, when taxable person is no longer required registration under 22 or 24, or you are voluntary registration, you were the bakra, you took voluntary registration, now you are telling, sir, sorry, my mistake, I took registration, I want to cancel. Baba, you can go ahead and apply for cancellation. That is the three case when registered person, legal hire, or the proper officer also can cancel your registration. Next, this is very important for your exam. Section number 29(2). They can go ahead and ask you, because it's a part of amendment also. Proper officer may cancel registration. Wherever I have written green, it is always a part of the amendment. What are the cases? Your exam question, everyone. What are the cases when proper officer can go ahead and cancel your registration? It says over here, registered person has contravened such provision of the act or rules. If you have gone ahead and contravened the provision of the act or the rules, then your registration can be cancelled. Sir, I did not issue 110 rupees ka invoice. My registration will be cancelled. No, they are telling such provision. Means they are telling you these provisions, if you go ahead and contravene, then your registration can be cancelled. What are the contravention? Rule number 21 talks about such provisions which you go ahead and contravene. Number one, no business from declared place of business. I have declared this as my place of business. I am not doing business only from here. If officer comes and checks and I am not doing business from here, they can cancel my registration. Number two, issues invoice or bill of supply without supplying of goods, services, or both word also has been added now. I am going ahead and supplying. I am going ahead and issuing the invoice. You want invoice? I will give you invoice. I will charge GST and give you. You take credit. I am not supplying only. Bogus invoice I am giving. Then my registration can be cancelled. Violates provision of section number 171 or rules made thereunder. If you are violating the provision of section number 171, section number 171 talks about profiteering and anti-profiteering. Okay, it talks about anti-profiteering basically, wherein if people are going ahead and making undue profits, then it is called profiteering. Okay, if you are going ahead and doing profiteering, then they are telling your registration can be cancelled. I will not explain profiteering now because it's a part of CA final. You can just remember, if you are going ahead and violating the provision of section number 171 or the rules made thereunder, then also your registration can be cancelled. Next, violates the provision of rule 10A, that is bank account detail furnishing. I hope you guys remember, I had already told you that once your registration has been granted, you have to go ahead and furnish bank account detail as per rule number 10A. You did not go ahead and furnish your bank account detail within the first monthly return or 45 days, whichever is earlier. You have to furnish your bank account detail. You did not furnish. If you don't go ahead and furnish your bank account detail, your registration can be cancelled. These four points were already there. Rule number 21 May, they have gone ahead and further added. They are telling, if you go ahead and avail amendment ITC in violation of section number 16 or rules made thereunder. Section number 16 tells you, you should take the credit. If you remember, ITC chapter 1st section, section number 16 says you should take the credit only when you have the invoice. You should take the credit only when you have received the goods or service. If you go ahead and take the credit without receiving the goods or service, if you take the credit without having the invoice, they are telling you are violating the provision of section number 16 and we can go ahead and cancel your registration. This is the first one. Secondly, furnishes details of outward supply in GSTR 1 greater than outward supply declared in valid return. This is known as VR, means valid return, under section number 39. Everyone over here, if you guys know about the returns, I will tell you little about the returns. Yes, it says returns may, there is a supplier will file GSTR 1. It will go to the recipient ka GSTR 2A, and whatever is coming in the GSTR 2A, he can go ahead and take the credit. 10th of every month you file GSTR 1. You know what happened? In GSTR 1, I showed 10 lakh ka sale, 2 lakh rupees ka GST. It went to the recipient ka GSTR 2A and he took 2 lakh rupees ka credit. Aram se he's enjoying. You know what happened? I did not pay this tax because when you are filing GSTR 1, you don't pay the tax. When you are filing your GSTR 3B, you have to pay the tax. Okay? In GSTR 3B, no, I did not go ahead and show my outward supply as 10 lakh. I am going ahead and showing my outward supply as 1 lakh. There is a mismatch. I am saying my outward supply is 1 lakh and tax payable supposedly 10,000 only. Government is telling if you try to do all these things, means you are trying to unduly pass the credit and the tax you are not paying to me also. What you did in GSTR 1, you showed your sale as 10 lakh and 2 lakh tax so that the front party can take the credit. Aram se people are enjoying the credit. You should pay this 2 lakh to the government also, but you are paying only 10,000. You are showing your outward supply as 1 lakh. Government is selling, I will cancel your registration. Furnishing details of outward supply in GSTR 1. In GSTR 1, what you are showing, it is greater than outward supplies in GSTR 3B. You went ahead and showed in your monthly return only 1 lakh. They are telling if you show more, we will go ahead and cancel your registration. Is the point clear till here, everyone? Quickly give me a heads up. Can we go ahead? Yes, everyone. Are we clear till here? Can we go ahead? Okay. Chalo, let's go ahead now. Now they are going ahead and telling if furnish the details of outward supply in GSTR 1 greater than what is furnished in GSTR 3B, then Baba, your registration can be cancelled. Or you are violating the provision of rule number 86B. Rule number 86B we will learn in the chapter of payment of taxes. When we come to payment of taxes chapter, we will be learning about rule number 86B. Don't worry about it. In the payment of taxes chapter, it is there. You can go to your payment of taxes chapter. In your payment of taxes chapter, I will be talking about rule number 86B. I will not explain now. When we come to the payment of taxes chapter, you will understand this. Everyone over here. What did I tell you? In your exam, they are going to ask you, sir, what are the cases when registered person can apply for registration cancellation or his legal hire can apply? Please remember this 3 points. Very important for exam. They can go ahead and ask you, what are the cases when proper officer can go ahead and cancel your registration? Number 1, if you have gone ahead and contravened such provision of the act or rules. What provision of the act or rules? I have already gone ahead and told you. Secondly, if you are a composition dealer and you have not furnished your return for 3 consecutive tax period. 3 consecutive tax period ke liye, if you don't go ahead and furnish your return, then they are telling composition taxable person ka registration also can be cancelled. Normal person has not furnished return GSTR 3B, which I am filing every month. For 6 months I have not filed my GSTR 3B. Monthly return I am not filing. Then they are telling your registration can be cancelled. You are a voluntary registered person. Bakra, you went ahead and took registration saying, sir, I want registration, I will do business, I will take credit. Not doing business only. Government is telling if you have taken registration and you are not doing business for 6 months, you are unnecessarily occupying our server space, we can go ahead and cancel your registration. Business not commenced for 6 months. You took the registration by fraud, willful misstatement or suppression of fact, then also your registration can be cancelled. If you go ahead and do fraud or you go ahead and give some misstatement, suppression of fact has been done, means you are doing fraud, they are telling we can go ahead and cancel your registration. Then, sir, I had to pay 5 crore, but government went ahead and cancelled my registration. I will keep 5 crore in my pocket. Government is telling, always remember, even if registration is cancelled, you are still liable to pay your tax, interest, penalty, whatever is applicable. Cancellation not affect liability to pay tax, dues, whether or not determined before or after cancellation. Whatever you are liable to pay, you will still have to pay. Section number 29(4), sir, my registration cancelled under the SGST Act. Registration cancelled under CGST Act also. It's like how registration is granted under SGST, registration is granted under CGST Act also. Deemed registration cancelled under the SGST Act, deemed registration cancelled under CGST Act also. Total bakwas, TB. Next. 29(5) talks about what is the amount that is payable by you when your registration has been cancelled. Tax payable on cancellation. Actually, you can just remember it theoretically. Practically, it requires evaluation rules, etc., which are not a part of your syllabus. So I don't think so in your exam they can go ahead and ask you a question on this. Okay. Now, tax payable on cancellation. What is the tax which is payable on cancellation? Sir, you should pay whatever is the input tax, whatever is your stock, semi-finished goods, etc. So my registration is cancelled. I will take all the goods and go home. They are telling when you are taking home, it is deemed as supply of goods. You will have to pay the tax. What? How much ITC you took? Or if you sell those goods, what is the amount that can be recovered? Whichever is higher has to be paid. So stock I'm taking home. What is the ITC you took? 100 rupees. If you sell, how much GST you can recover? 110. Pay 110. Always remember one thing, whenever you are closing your business, on the stock, semi-finished goods and finished goods, you have to pay whatever is the ITC taken or the output tax payable. Capital goods and plant and machinery, whatever is the ITC or the tax on transaction value, means if you go ahead and sell, whatever is the tax, whichever is higher. This talks about reduced credit and all. Not very important from exam point of view. ITC chapter mein anyways we'll be discussing little about it. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here now. I have gone ahead and drawn one chart on the right hand side. See. Sir, event happened. Registered person or his legal hire want to go ahead and cancel the registration. If they want to cancel within 30 days of the event, supposingly one person died. Once one person has died, within how many days? Within 30 days, they have to go ahead and apply. Means you are going ahead and applying for registration cancellation. You have to apply in GST REG 16. When you are going ahead and applying, you have to tell what is your input which is there in your stock, input which is in your semi-finished goods, whatever is lying in your finished goods, and whatever is your capital goods, you'll have to give the detail on the date you are asking for cancellation, on the date from which cancellation is sought. Plus, you will have to say how much is the tax payable by you, plus how did you go ahead and pay the tax, and the supporting document has to be given. Then the proceedings will go on, and then the cancellation order will be given to you. So, sir, once one event has happened, if registered person wants to apply for cancellation, he has to go ahead and apply within 30 days in GST REG 16. He has to go ahead and give the details of the stock, semi-finished goods and finished goods and capital goods, and plus whatever is the liability and how did he go ahead and pay the liability, all details have to be given. Then cancellation order will be given to him, and the registered person will be directed to pay the tax, interest, penalty, whatever is applicable, and the amount as per section number 29.5. Everyone, I had already told you section number 29.5, this amount has to be paid by you. Okay, sir? And then you will have to file one bye-bye return, which is GSTR 10. Bye-bye to GST. That final return has to be filed by you after the payment of the dues. I am going ahead and telling, sir, I want to cancel for my registration. Sir, one person has died, supposedly. If one person has died, he should, registration ke liye application has to be given within the next 30 days. Please give your registration ka application. Proper officer will do the proceeding. Cancellation order will be given. Within cancellation order, once it is given, whatever is the liability, dues, etc., which you have not paid, please pay. And within 3 months, please file your bye-bye return, which is the final return after paying all the taxes. Next. Sir, if the cancellation is applied, by the proper officer, means the proper officer wants to cancel your registration. See, above when I explained you, the above one was applicable in case of legal hire and registered person. Sir, whenever the proper officer wants to cancel your registration, always remember, he will first of all give you a show cause notice. Show me the cause. Why I should not go ahead and cancel your registration? Then please go ahead and reply in GST REG 18. Within how many days? Within 7 days you have to go ahead and apply. Reply. Once you go ahead and reply, if the reply is not satisfactory, then he will go ahead and give the cancellation order. Okay. If the reply is satisfactory, or you know what happened, proper officer was cancelling your registration because you did not file your return. You went ahead and filed your return, paid all your tax, etc. Then they are telling over here, if reply is satisfactory or proper officer was cancelling your registration because you did not file your return, pay all the tax, interest, fees, whichever late fee is there, pay it. PO will drop the proceeding. Sir, if reply is not satisfactory, then they are telling cancellation proceedings will be done and your registration ka cancellation order will be given, and they will tell you whatever is your liability due, pay it. Once you make the payment within 3 months, please go ahead and file your bye-bye return, which is there, which is final return as in GSTR 10. We are done with the cancellation proceedings over here. Now listen to me very carefully, everyone. What next thing over here is, sir, when my cancellation proceedings are going on, proper officer has the power that, sir, they can go ahead during the cancellation proceeding, they can go ahead and suspend your registration. They can go ahead and suspend your registration. Suspension of registration is told by rule number 21A, which will continue. Quickly tell me, is everyone clear till here? Can I go ahead with suspension now? Is everyone clear till here? Can we go ahead with suspension? Suspension has an amendment which I will go ahead and talk. Yes, people, quickly comment and tell me, are you clear till here? Can we go ahead? Yes, sir, we are clear. Let's go ahead now. Now we'll talk about suspension of registration. Everyone over here, please come to your amendment material. See section number 25(1). Rule number 9, whatever the amendment was there, 3 days now made 7 days, 21 days now made 30 days. This I have already gone ahead and explained. All this I have already gone ahead and told you in the chart. Section number 29 May, I have already told you, voluntary registration if you have taken, you can go ahead and apply for cancellation. See over here, you can go ahead and apply for cancellation. This I have already told you. If you come down, rule number 21 May, 3 more points have been added. Rule number 21 May, 3 more points I have already gone ahead and told you when registration can be cancelled by the proper officer. Additional 3 points are inserted now. Okay, this is just the crux of the amendment. You guys can read at home. Let's go ahead with rule number 21A, suspension of registration. I'll talk in detail over here. We'll go ahead now. When registered person has applied for cancellation, everyone over here, I applied for cancellation over here and I told I want 15th of March, I applied for cancellation and I went ahead and told after 15 days means 31st March, I want cancellation of registration. I am seeking cancellation from 31st of March. Means I am telling, sir, till 31st of March, I should be a registered person. I want to cancel my registration. They are going ahead and telling, when a registered person has applied for cancellation, pending cancellation, the registration shall be deemed to be suspended. So what will happen here? Cancellation proceedings will be going on. Cancellation proceedings will be going on. So they are telling during the cancellation proceeding, we will go ahead and suspend your registration. That's all. They are telling over here, see, from the date of submission or the date from which application is sought, cancellation is sought, whichever is later, your registration. So sir, I applied over here. From here I am asking for cancellation. Whichever is later, that is from this date, your registration will be suspended till the date of cancellation order. They are going ahead and telling over here, sir, where registered person has applied for cancellation, pending cancellation, the registration shall be deemed to be suspended from the date of submission of application or the date from which cancellation is sought, whichever is later. Okay, sir. Sir, if proper officer is going ahead and applying, proper officer wants to cancel my registration, then first proper officer will give you a show cause notice and he will tell you to reply. Once you go ahead and reply, then he will decide from when to cancel your registration. For an example, proper officer told from here I want to go ahead and suspend your registration. From here till the date of cancellation order, he will go ahead and suspend your registration. They are telling over here, when proper officer has reason to believe that the registration is liable to be cancelled, he may suspend the registration with effect from a date to be determined by him pending the completion of cancellation proceeding. So sir, during this period, so he will decide from when your cancellation will start, cancellation proceeding will start, and during the period when your cancellation proceedings are going on, then he will suspend your registration. Next. The next one over here is, this is a part of the amendment which is a new amendment. Now what is that? What are they telling over here? They are telling, when a comparison of the return furnished by the registered person under section number 39, I went ahead and furnished a return under section number 39 with the details of the outward supply furnished in GSTR 1. Sir, you know what happened? The same thing. In GSTR 1, I am going ahead and showing 10 lakh rupees and 2 lakh rupees ka GST. 10 lakh rupees is my outward supplies I am showing. So that front party can take, when it is going in their GSTR 2A, the recipient which is there, who is there, supplier filed his GSTR 1. In GSTR 1, he went ahead and showed 2 lakh rupees ka GST collected. He is telling, sir, I have collected 2 lakh ka GST. And he went ahead and showed, and it went to the recipient ka GSTR 2A. He got 2 lakh rupees ka full credit. In your GSTR 3B, when you are filing your GSTR 3B, you have to pay your tax. Who will pay the tax? You went ahead and showed only 1 lakh rupees ka sale and 10,000 ka tax you paid to the government. Government is telling, I will immediately suspend your registration. This is the new change. That's it. See, when a comparison of the return furnished by a registered person under section number 39 with the details of outward supply furnished in GSTR 1 or the details of inward supplies derived based on the details of outward supplies furnished by the supplier in GSTR 1. Someone else. 1 minute. Now tell me one thing. If my suppliers furnish GSTR 1, that will also come in my GSTR 2A. In my GSTR 2A, you know what is happening? Everyone, this is your amendment material ka page number 9. Amendment material page number 9. Everyone over here. Now, if you are going ahead and saying, sir, GSTR 1 the supplier is furnishing, he went ahead and showed 10 lakh rupees and 2 lakh rupees. In my GSTR 2A, it is showing 10 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees ka credit. And you know what I am doing? Oh, 2 lakh ka credit, 2 lakh outward supply, 0 I am paying. Government is telling, if all these things are happening, it means government will be able to understand that Ramesh is doing something wrong. His outward supplies is his inward supplies. Means Ramesh might be buying bogus invoices. So government is telling, we will go ahead. See, if this thing happens, see. Or if any other analysis proper officer want, they can carry as may be carried out on recommendation of the council, shows that there are significant differences, anomalies indicating contravention of the provision of the act or the rules leading to cancellation of the said registration. You are doing all this fraud, we will cancel your registration, but before cancellation they will give you opportunity of being heard, so they will suspend your registration. They are telling, his registration shall be suspended and the said person shall be communicated in GST REG 31 electronically on the common portal or by sending a communication to his mail address given at the time of registration or as amended from time to time. Nothing. Sir, you are showing GSTR 1 mein 10 lakh, GSTR 3B mein only 1 lakh. Officer is telling you are trying to do cheating. Then officer can cancel your registration. GSTR 1 mein sale is also 10 lakh, purchase is also 10 lakh. Officer is telling every month your outward, whatever tax payable, you have that much credit. It means you might be buying bogus invoices. They will go ahead and cancel your registration. Immediately they will go ahead and suspend. Then proceedings will be done and registration will be cancelled. So they are telling over here, they will highlight the differences and anomalies and ask you to explain within a period of 30 days as to why your registration shall not be cancelled, and during the period when all these proceedings are going on, they will go ahead and cancel your, suspend your registration. Okay, sir. Now listen to me very carefully. Proper officer went ahead and suspended my registration. Here, suspension is done. Now, when your registration is suspended, no, always remember one thing. When your registration is suspended, what do you mean by registration suspension? It means you cannot go ahead and make taxable supply. You cannot make taxable supply and you cannot issue tax invoice. You cannot issue taxable supply, you cannot make taxable supply, and hence you cannot issue tax invoice. I will tell, sir, okay, I cannot make taxable supply means what? I cannot make taxable supply means, see, it says over here, a registered person whose registration has been suspended shall not make any taxable supply and you shall not furnish any return. So during suspension, no return also. No return also and no taxable supply. What do you mean by no taxable supply? No taxable supply means you cannot issue tax invoice. Sir, can I make supply? Yes, Baba, you can make supply, you can issue invoice, but you cannot issue tax invoice. You cannot charge tax to your customer. When your registration is suspended, no return and no taxable supply. What do you mean by no taxable supply? No taxable supply means, see over here, no taxable supply means shall not issue tax invoice and accordingly not to charge tax on the supplies which you have made. So, sir, you cannot issue tax invoice and collect tax. Sir, but tell me one thing. During suspension, can I supply? Yes, Baba, you can supply, but you cannot collect tax from your customer. Sir, you know what happened? After some days, officer realized, oh no, Ramesh is a good guy. They went ahead and suspension revoked. Oh, Ramesh, we are really sorry. They went ahead and revoked the suspension. Now I'll tell, sir, during this period, whatever supply I did, I could not collect tax from my customer. They are telling, whatever invoices are there, no, you could not collect tax. Do one thing. Here, during the next 30 days, you can do one thing. You can go ahead and issue revised tax invoice and collect the tax from your customers who are there. Is the point clear to all? Quickly tell me, during the period of suspension, you cannot go ahead and make taxable supply and hence you cannot issue tax invoice. Now, yes, you have to pay the tax. Sir, whatever supplies you have done, you could not issue the invoice. Now you can issue revised tax invoice, collect the tax from your customer and pay to the government. Sir, customer I could not find, but still I have to pay the tax. Yes, Baba, you will have to pay the tax. Next, everyone over here now. Yes, if you have my GST total material, Amruta, if you have my GST total material, in that also it is already the amended portion only which is written. If you have taken my classes for November or December 21, in that also the book which is given or the classes which are given are already amended. Okay, everyone over here now. Now all these revised tax invoice which you are going ahead and issuing, you will have to go ahead and show, because you did not go ahead and file any return during this time, whatever revised tax invoice you have gone ahead and issued, you have to show in the first return which you are going ahead and filing after your suspension has been revoked. They are telling over here, a registered person whose registration has been suspended. Okay, here. Sir, a registered person whose registration has been suspended shall not be granted any refund. New amendment, during this period, if you want to take any refund of the tax, refund also will not be given. People, what they do, they go ahead and apply for refund during cancellation. They are telling during the suspension, we will not go ahead and give you any refund also. Okay, sir. Next, the suspension shall be deemed, this is total bakwas here. Okay, this is okay. If proper officer wants, he can revoke the suspension anytime. Okay, that power is there. Now, this is one point where any order having the effect of revocation of suspension, where the suspension is revoked, okay, registration, the provisions of clause A of section number 31, basically 31(3)(a) talks about revised tax invoice, and section number 40 of the supplies made during the period of suspension and the procedure shall apply means nothing. During this period, whatever supply you did, for that you can go ahead and issue revised tax invoice and you can show them in the first return which is told as per section number 40. Are we clear over here? Can we go ahead? I have told you about suspension of registration over here. Is the point clear to all? Sir, during suspension, always remember, please don't go ahead and make any taxable supply. It means you cannot issue tax invoice. It means I can make supply, but I cannot issue tax invoice. Later, if suspension is revoked, issue the revised tax invoice. And when you go ahead and issue the revised tax invoice, also show the revised tax invoice in the first return which you are going ahead and filing after the revocation. Mohit, rule number 21A which I have just now explained, please go ahead. If it is not there in the chart book, I have gone ahead and told it in the amendment material only. You have to read the amendment material. People who have my GST total book, in the GST total book, rule number 21A is already written. Next, let's go ahead everyone. Is the point clear till here? Can we go ahead people? Quickly tell me, are we clear with suspension? Yes, sir. Suspension is clear. Chalo, let's go ahead now with the next one, which is 22. Rule number 22 mein nothing, because now this one has come. Rule number 21A, 2A has come. They have just gone ahead and inserted the word rule number 21, 2A, rule number 21, 2A over here. It is just the small rule number 21A, 2A has come, so that words have been inserted over here. That's all. Next. Revocation. Sir, my registration is cancelled. Please revoke. There you went to the proper officer. You started crying saying, sir, my registration is cancelled. Please don't cancel my registration. You can go ahead, and once your registration is cancelled by the proper officer, please go ahead and apply within 30 days for revocation. Sir, please revoke the cancellation. If you apply within 30 days, then proper officer will take another 30 days. If proper officer is satisfied, he will revoke the cancellation order. He will tear, oh sir, revocation, please revoke this cancellation order, please don't cancel. Then Baba, he will tear the cancellation order and throw, basically he will issue a GST REG 22 and say revoke the cancellation order has been cancellation of the cancellation order. Okay sir. Next. Sir, I applied within 30 days. Proper officer will take another 30 days. Within the next 30 days, if proper officer is not satisfied that your registration should not cancellation, sir, cancel my cancellation order, then they are going ahead and telling, he will issue you a show cause notice. He will tell, I will reject your revocation application. I will not revoke your cancellation order. Your registration should be cancelled. You are a thief. Then he will issue you a show cause notice. You have to reply within 7 days. Once you go ahead and reply within the next 30 days, if you are satisfied, then he will revoke the cancellation order and issue an order in GST REG 22. If he is not satisfied, he will reject the application and pass a order. Always remember one thing. Whenever you are going ahead and applying for revocation, your registration was cancelled because you did not file your return. First file your return, only then go ahead and apply for revocation. It says, if registration cancelled due to non-filing of return, if registration was cancelled due to non-filing of return, before applying, file the return, pay all the tax, interest, penalty and late fee, only then your revocation application will be admitted. Are we clear? Yes sir, point clear. What is the amendment in revocation? So sir, your cancellation order came, you have to run within 30 days and apply for revocation. Now they have gone ahead and told, amendment is further, if you could not go in 30 days, the cancellation order goes, sir, please cancel the cancellation order. You could not go within 30 days. Then Baba, they are going ahead and telling, additional commissioner or joint commissioner can go ahead and extend the time limit by further 30 days. If within 60 days also you could not go, again 30 days ka time can be given by the commissioner. This is the amendment in section number 30. See over here, it says, this is the amendment saying additional commissioner or joint commissioner can give you further 30 days. If sir, first 30 days may you have to go ahead and apply. You could not apply, additional or joint commissioner can give you 30 days. You could not apply, again 30 days ka time limit can be given by the commissioner. That is telling over here. So basically now you have 30 days plus 30 days plus 30 days to apply for revocation. Sir, my cancellation order, please cancel. So he can cancel if you go ahead and give him an application. Always remember one thing, whatever returns are due, please go ahead and file all your returns, only then go ahead and apply for revocation. This chart which is there on the side, it is just a 2-minute thing. See, whatever returns were due, it is just for your knowledge. I'll tell quickly over here. Whatever returns were due, for an example, 6 months ka return I did not file. Now what will happen? Proper officer will give me a show cause notice. Then I'll have to reply, and then cancellation order came. Once the cancellation order came, you have to run within 30 days. You have to apply for revocation. Before applying for revocation, always remember whatever returns were due till the cancellation order, please go ahead and file all your return, pay all your taxes, then apply for revocation. Within the next 30 days, he will give you revocation order. Now, from the cancellation order till the revocation order, whatever returns were due, please go ahead and file within the next 30 days, and that's it. Within the next 30 days, all the returns, see, before this date, whatever return were due, please file and then file your revocation application. Once the revocation application or revocation order has come, from cancellation order till the revocation, whatever returns are due, you will have to file within the next 30 days. Next, sir, I went ahead, Baba, this is not very important at intermediate level, but still okay. Sir, you did not file your return for 6 months. It is there in your book. It is there in your book. I can't go ahead and say they can't ask. They can definitely go ahead and ask Harshita, right? You went ahead, did not file your return for 6 months, right? They went ahead and issued you a show cause notice. You went ahead and replied, and then they went ahead and issued a cancellation order. Once the cancellation order came, in the cancellation order, they cancelled your registration retrospectively. Here, it was not retrospectively cancelled. Hence, you can go ahead and file all the returns which were due during this period. But in this case, what the officer did, he cancelled your registration retrospectively. It means all the returns which are due, you cannot file now. And hence, they are telling, without filing all your returns, you can go ahead and directly apply for revocation. Once the revocation order comes, from here till here, whatever returns were due, you can go ahead and file within the next 30 days. That's all is being told over here. Here we are done with your chapter of registration, everyone. I'll go ahead and stop my discussion on registration. We have gone ahead and covered the amendments also. All the amendments also has been covered. I will quickly tell you amendments. Please come up in the amendment material. If you have my textbook, in the textbook also these amendments are already there. Number 1 amendment, registration chapter mein, 1 amendment. Yes, you don't have to refer to the ICAI amendments if you have my amendment material. Everyone over here now. Registration, section number 25, 6D mein amendment is there. Very important for exam. Who are not required to go ahead and do Aadhaar authentication? And New Delhi PSU. I have already told you this one. What is New Delhi PSU? N for non-Indian citizen. D for Department of Central Government, State Government. L for local authority. P for public sector undertaking. S for statutory body. U for UIN holder. Okay, everyone, please remember, it is very important. Next, 25(1), I have already gone ahead and told you the time limit for going ahead and approving the registration was 3 days earlier. Now make 7 days. For physical verification, they were given 21 days. Now physical verification and approving the registration time limit has been increased from 21 to 30 days. Next, then we have over here section number 29, which I have gone ahead and told you, cancellation of registration. Very important for your exam is, when can registration be cancelled by the proper officer? What are the cases? Because now amendment is there. Then we have section number 21A. What are the cases when registration can be suspended? Number 1, when you apply for registration, then also your registration can be suspended. This can be exam question. Number 2, if proper officer wants, he can also go ahead and cancel your, suspend your registration during the cancellation proceeding. Number 3, 21(2)A has been inserted. Please read this and go. There can be a question in the exam. What are the 3 scenarios when registration can be suspended? Okay, sir. And then you have, this is okay, revocation. Within how many days you can apply for revocation? 30 days. Now the time limit has been extended by further 30 days. Further, commissioner can go ahead and extend by, additional commissioner, joint commissioner can extend by 30 days, and commissioner also can go ahead and extend by further 30 days. So 30, 30 and 30. Now, student is requesting, saying, sir, please go ahead and give all section ka summary. Okay, let's do it. Rashida madam. Chalo, here everyone, registration. With me everyone, you will have to quickly revise. Everyone with me. We started learning section number 22. Remember always, section number 22 has section number 22(1). Who is liable? Supplier is liable when you go ahead and cross 10 lakh, 20 lakh or 40 lakh. Section number 21(2), section number 22(2) told about existing registered person is also liable when on the appointment date. Section number 22(3), transferee who has taken the business from a transferor who was a registered person as going concern, transferee shall be liable from the date of transfer or succession. Section number 22(4) told about transferee in case of amalgamation from the date the ROC issues certificate of incorporation. 23(1)A told about if you are not liable to pay any tax or you are supplying wholly exempt supply, don't go ahead. If you are supplying those supplies which are nil rated, wholly exempted, non-taxable supply, you don't have to take registration. B told about agriculturist who is growing and supplying need not take registration. 2 told about notified category who are exempted. 24 went ahead and told about CA rin, do dala, CA, C for what everyone? Okay, here CA rin. Okay, sir, section number 23 में one agriculturist is also there. If there is an APMC agent of an agriculturist, that person is also not required to take compulsory registration. Agent of an agriculturist is not required compulsory registration. Thank you, Arshita madam. ठीक है. C for casual taxable person, A for agent of a taxable person, compulsory registration, R for person required to pay tax under reverse charge, I for interstate supplier, but casual taxable person may remember, if you are a casual taxable person who is supplying handicraft goods exempted up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Interstate supplier में handicraft goods, craftsman goods वाला exempted up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Right everyone? And service providers, interstate supplier of service exempted up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. And for NRTP also compulsory registration. Then we have section number 25. Do you guys remember section number 25(1) everyone? Yes sir, section number 25(1) went ahead and told if you are going ahead and taking registration, apply within 30 days. Once you become liable, apply within 30 days. CTP, NRTP 5 days prior. SEZ separate registration. Territorial waters nearest coastal state. Then what is the next one? The next one is 25(2) multiple place of business, multiple registration can be taken. Sir, 25(3) voluntary registration can be taken. If you want, you can apply for voluntary registration. 25(4) distinct person. 25(5) also told about distinct person. 25(6) told about PAN is mandatory for grant of registration. Right everyone? Yes sir. 25(6)A, 6B, 6C and 6D told about Aadhaar authentication. 6A told if you are a already registered person, you have to go ahead and take Aadhaar authentication from a date to be notified, nothing notified. 6B told about individual has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. 6C told about AMK. A authorized signatory, M for managing and authorized partner, K for Karta has to undergo authorized individual, authorized signatory, managing and authorized partner, and Karta has to undergo. 6D told about New Delhi PSU does not have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Next, 7 told about NRTP ka registration related. 8 told about suo moto. 9 told about UIN holder. Okay sir. 26 total bakwas everyone. Section number 26 deemed registration ka concept. 27 told about CTP and NRTP. They always have to apply 5 days prior. 90 days plus 90 days ke liye registration has been given. 28 told about what? 28 went ahead and told about amendment. Amendment can be core field, amendment can be non-core field, amendment can be PAN change. PAN change, fresh registration. Non-core, just apply in RG 14, amendment will happen. And core field, you will have to apply. PO will take 15 days. Either within 15 days he will accept, or he will go ahead and issue a show cause notice. And once you reply, then he will either go ahead and grant the amendment or he will reject. Then we had section number 29. Section number 29 1 told when proper officer or legal hire or registered person can apply. Section number 29 2 told whenever proper officer can go ahead and cancel. Section number 29 3 went ahead and told your liability will continue even if your registration has been cancelled. 25 4 went ahead and told total bakwas, cancelled under SGST Act, cancellation under CGST Act also. 5 told how much do you have to pay on cancellation. Then we have section number 30 which told about revocation. Once your registration has been cancelled, please go and apply to the proper officer for revocation of cancellation. Right everyone, here we are done, but one rule number 21A is also there which talks about suspension. Either you can apply for suspension, basically when you have applied for cancellation, pending cancellation your registration will be suspended. When proper officer wants to cancel, proper officer can also go ahead and during the cancellation proceeding suspend your registration. And one more is whenever there are anomalies, 2A has been introduced, GSTR 1 to GSTR 3B, GSTR 1 to GSTR 2A. When he compares and he finds there are anomalies, he can go ahead and immediately suspend your registration pending the cancellation proceedings. Here we are done with your registration ka chapter everyone. I'll go ahead and close my registration ka chapter over here. Now listen to me very carefully. I will be uploading within some time on my channel only. I will go ahead and upload the exemptions which are there. What you can do is exemptions I will not be doing in the live session because it will again take 2-3 hours of time. Tomorrow is the last day, so tomorrow we'll go ahead and do the remaining portions which are there. But today I will be going ahead and uploading all the exemptions ka one file which is there. You guys can go ahead and see the file by tonight, and tomorrow please come. Tomorrow we'll go ahead and continue our class wherein we'll go ahead. So today I'll be uploading the exemptions also, and then tomorrow we'll go ahead and read the remaining portion. Okay, everyone. So exemptions I'll be uploading on my YouTube channel. 2 to 3 hours minimum it will be there because it's a big chapter. Please study it tonight, and then tomorrow we'll go ahead and continue our discussion from, I believe, value of supply. Yes. So tomorrow will be the last day. We'll be little fast, and tomorrow we'll go ahead and continue with value of supply. Right, everyone? Exemptions I'll be uploading. Please finish it by tonight. Take care, everyone. Bye, guys. Madam, Harshita madam, it will be there on my YouTube channel only. You can go ahead and see it over there. Okay, exemptions I'll be uploading in the channel. You guys can go ahead and see that. Okay, bye guys. Take care. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Keep revising. Finish the exemption chapter which I'll be uploading. Please finish. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, 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 everyone. Bye, guys. Have a great day. If you have not liked the video, do like the video. Take care. Chalo. Bye, everyone. Bye. Have a great day.